High School Lowdown. For Ernest Boker, I'm Steve Wilson. Porter's Chapel will be opening their home slate against Newton Academy, and the Eagles are flying high coming into that game at 2-0.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy last week. They got behind early, second week in a row, but found a way to gut out a win against Hartfield Academy, which is a 2A school. So a good gut check win for them to really kind of keep that ball rolling forward and going into their two big district games the next 2 weeks against Trinity and Wilkinson Christian.
Well, in my conversation with Coach Wayne Lynch yesterday, the biggest thing that jumped out to him is the PCA offense. They're able to move the ball, but they've got to cut down on the turnovers because turnovers just totally derail your offensive momentum.
Absolutely. Jonah Masterson threw for 200-plus yards again last week, closing in on the school record. Does that again this week. He'll have it past Ben Jernigan from the late 90s. But the thing that's really hurt them, if anything has hurt them the last 2 weeks, has been a slow start. They gave up 2 quick touchdowns against Union Christian, found a way to pull it out, blow them out. Did the same against Hartfield last week, and they do that the next few weeks. They're really going to be in trouble because these teams that they're fixing to play are much, much better than what they've seen the first 2 weeks. Up next is one of the bigger rivalries in the area, Catholic school rivalry, St. Aloysius and Madison St. Joe. St. Al coming in off a big win over Pisgah, not a very good win, if there is such a thing, but a win. So what did you see last week?
Well, the biggest thing that jumped out to me was the two-headed quarterback monster. You got Connor Smith, you got Matthew Foley. They both played decently well. They were able to move the chains, and obviously they weren't able to put it in the end zone too often. But the biggest thing that I saw was St. Al's defense. They played solidly. They gave up a few big plays, but when they needed to make the big plays, they came up huge.
And they've only given up 21 points so far this year. 17 against Cathedral. 24 points. So it looks like they're a much improved team from what they've been the last few years, and this could be a big game for them going into the district next week.
Well, Madison St. Joe is going to be a tough opponent, and of course there's a traveling trophy involved that you've talked about, the old history. What is it, the Strauss Stallings?
That's it. And it should be on the sideline again. The winners swap it back and forth. So hopefully St. Al can find a way to bring it back to Vicksburg.
Well, last but not least, we come to the biggest game on the slate, Vicksburg and Warren Central. It doesn't get any bigger than that in the county.
Absolutely not. And they didn't get to play last year because of the brawl between Vicksburg and Murrah and the penalties and everything that followed that. So they're both sides are really kind of chomping at the bit to get back at each other. It's been a couple of years. And been a long time for Warren Central since they've won since 2006.
Well, I think the key matchup in this game is going to be WC's offense against Vicksburg's much improved defense. Vicksburg had their first shutout since, 2010?
2010, yes.
And WC's offense needs some sort of continuity. The turnovers have really hurt them in past weeks. And it seems like there's a lot of inconsistency. You'll get a 28-yard run, and then you're getting a big loss.
Well, we call that struggling, basically. But what Warren Central's really had the first couple of weeks is a little bit of a self-destructive gene, where you make one mistake and it leads to another and another and another. That's what happened last week against Callaway. They misplayed a punt, and all of a sudden they're committing 3 other turnovers in the fourth quarter, losing by 2 touchdowns after being tied. If they do that against Vicksburg, they're going to be in real trouble. Vicksburg, like you said, much improved defense. Has made their share of mistakes too, but hasn't let it hurt them the way Warren Central has. So Warren Central really needs to cut down on those, find a way to put some points on the board, and find a way to keep up with a Vicksburg offense that's also improved.
Well, the thing that really jumps out at me about Vicksburg's offense, and Coach DeVaris Johnson Sr. has said this to me several times, we're going to take whatever the defense is going to give us. If you're going to give us the pass, we're fine throwing the ball around. If you're going to give us the run, we're fine with handing it off to Terrell Smith, who everyone knows in this town is one of the state's fastest people, be it on a track or a football field.
And really one of the most improved players in the county, maybe in the state, really. He's having a breakout year so far. Really was a mediocre player, really, the first couple of years. I had some trouble catching the ball, fast, but not a great football player. And so far this year, had 287 yards rushing last week. 142 combined yards the first week against Terry. So really, he is really having a breakout year, great year, looking like he's going to be a great player for them this year.
Thanks for tuning in to another edition of High School Lowdown. For Ernest Boker, I'm Steve Wilson. Be sure to check out all the happenings at VicksburgPost.com. And be sure to follow us for Twitter updates at Vix Post Sports, and that's VIX Post Sports. Thanks, and have a great day.